All right, good morning, class. Thank you for joining me today. And as I shared earlier, today all the teachers are meeting together to have a quarter one IA review analysis, looking at the data to see how you all do and how can we improve as teachers. So with that said, make sure that you have your notebook out, ready to take these notes and answer the following questions. And again, just like last Tuesday, you are to answer these questions simultaneously with a Google form that was also shared in Google Classroom. So take the next 30 seconds to get that out and make sure everything is all set up for a successful class. Okay, let's begin. Denise plans to rent a car for $1,370. The car rental costs $40 per hour, and she will also have to pay a fee of $20 since Denise is under 25 years old. If the car rental is available only for a whole number of hours, what is the number of hours for which Denise can rent the car? So a lot of things are going on here, but let's just try to get to it. Denise plans to rent a car for $1,370. So that is what the total is going to equal. The car rental costs $40 per hour. So because that is our rate of change, that can be listed as 45x. And then lastly, we have to pay a fee of $20. It's like a flat fee, a flat value. Therefore, we can say that it's just be adding 20. And if the car rental is only for a whole number of hours, we should expect our numbers to be between 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 whole numbers, right? Remember those real number systems. So what is the number of hours we have? I guess that will be our x value. X represents the number of hours. So let's all put this together. We have our rates. So what is being asked and how the question will be answered? The question will be asked is, what is the number of hours for which Denise can rent the car, their car. What is the independent variable? Well, x is number of hours, so x is the number of hours. That is our independent variable. The dependent, that's our total cost. So the total cost of renting a car. The average rate, again, that's $45 per hour, which can be represented as 45x. The initial value, that's a $20 fee, or plus 20. Therefore, the equation is 1,370 equals 45x plus 20. And so because the number of hours is x, by solving for x, I get to know the number of hours. So let's subtract 20 to both sides. Cancels out. 1,350 equals 45x. Divide both sides by 45. X equals, in a second, 313. Who can beat me to it? 30. So it's a whole number as is while solving for it. Therefore, we do not leave it as just 30x. We answer the question. So what is the number of hours for the car's rental? So Denise can rent the car for 30 hours. This is the response we're looking for. A complete sentence that's answering the question, okay? Not just the value, not just the x equals 30, the equation, but a complete sentence. Make sure you have this down, and if so, pause. If not, pause the video. All right. Right now, please take the next 5 minutes to answer this problem about Angel renting an apartment for $17,000. Please take the next 5 minutes to answer each part of these questions independently as you go on. All right, thank you so much. 5 minutes, pause the video to answer this problem independently. This as well. All right, now let's get into example 2. While preparing to run for a marathon, Amelia created a training schedule in which the distance of her longest run every week increased by a constant amount. If Amelia's training schedule requires that her longest run in week 5 is a distance of 10 miles and her longest run in week 15 is a distance of 30 miles, what is the rate of the distance Amelia runs between week 5 and week 15 of her training schedule? All right, so the key thing here we have she's running every week increased by a constant amount. This is a sign that we're dealing with some type of constant rate between what? The week and the distance. By a week and the distance. So let's see, what is being asked and how it could be answered. So what is the rate of the distance Amelia runs between week 5 and week 15 of her training schedule? So we just write that there, the same question. Just like that, right? Let's really get to it. What is the independent variable? Well, independent variable usually deals with time. Time is always independent. It's never based on something. We are based off time. We're dependent on time. We may die tomorrow, but time moves on continuously. Therefore, if I had to choose between week and distance, the number of weeks is what relates to time. So the number of weeks. The independent variable is the number of weeks. The dependent variable, therefore, is the total distance that Amelia runs. The average rates. Well, there's nothing that clearly states an average rate, so I guess we just have to solve for it. Let me just erase all this. Let's see what we have. So week 15 is of 30 miles, and week 5 is of 10 miles. And I know my weeks are my x's, and my miles is my y's. So therefore, I have 5, 10 for this one, and 15, 30 for the other one. Those are my 2 points. So I just write them down as such. Okay. Actually, I'm going to reverse them, make 5 and 10 because 5 comes before 15. So let's make this our x1. So now let's do m equals y2 minus y1 all over x2 minus x1. And here we're just substituting solving. y2 is 30 minus 10, which is over 15 minus 5. Simplify it out. M equals 20 over 10. M equals 2. Now, if you start at 2, you'll be partially correct because, again, average rate, we have to deal with some type of units. And let's see, it goes by 20. Let's see, 2 weeks per. So these are 20 miles for 10 weeks. Therefore, it'll be 2 miles per 1 week. So the average rate is 2 miles per 1 week or 2 miles per week. Either way works. Have this down, and let's see, initial value. Do we start any place? No, and just like any type of like race, we start at the 0 mark. So no initial value. Right? We don't get a head start in when we're running. Right? And yeah, there we go. That's really it. Yep. All right. So now pause the video, take the next 5 minutes to answer number 2 independently. Okay, take the next 5 minutes to answer each part of it, and make sure you understand when Jordan notices about a marathon in a couple of weeks. Let's see what Jordan's doing with his marathon runs. Again, take 5 minutes to answer this problem independently. Pause the video. Let's go to example 3 now. A company that manufactures iPhone first pays a startup cost and then spends a certain amount of money to manufacture each iPhone. If the cost manufacturing I, representing iPhones, is given by the function CI equals 77.50i plus 150, then what does the value 750 best represent? So what is it being asked? What does the value 750 best represent, and also technically in this equation? What is the independent variable? That's our I here, therefore it's iPhones. So the number of iPhones, not just iPhones, the number of iPhones is a huge difference. This talks about quantity. Independent has a quantifiable amount, a certain amount. Dependent variables, that's a C of I stuff, and that seems to be a cost. Yes, the cost of manufacturing. So the total cost of manufacturing iPhones. And that's how you know it's independent, because the cost is based on how many iPhones we have. The average rate, well, that's the one with the that's the coefficient. Did I just lose? Nope. Lost feeling my pen. That's the one with the coefficient. That's one with the rate. So it is $7.50 dollars per iPhone. Initial value, that's our startup money, $150. The equation we know is CI equals 7.50i plus 150. And what does this represent? We kind of just answered it here. 750 represents the cost of manufacturing each iPhone. And that's really it. $7.50 for manufacturing each iPhone. My brother works at Apple. Maybe he would tell us a bit more if this is true or not. He probably won't allow though. So again, now independent practice. Take the next 5 minutes to independently practice the following example you have here about cell phone bills and texting and such. Take the next 5 minutes, pause the video to answer this problem independently. Sorry, Classic has had some technical difficulties, but we're back. Okay, Carol and Cardi No B each ordered a sandwich at a restaurant for $38. The price of Carol's sandwich was X dollars, and the price of Cardi's sandwich was $4. $4 more than the price of Carol's sandwich. If Carol and Cardi split the cost of the sandwiches evenly and each paid a 10% tip, creating an equation represents the amount of dollars each of them paid. Assume there is not sales tax. How fortunate. So, Carol, let's just say, is variable K, and Cardi is C. And they bought a restaurant for $338, so that is our total amount, $38. The price of kale sandwich is X dollars, so that's our set form of X. And the price of Cardi is $4 more. So if kale is X and Cardi is $4 more, we can say Cardi is X plus 4. If kale is and split the cost between evenly, that means we're going to be dividing by 2 somewhere in this equation. And each paid 10%, which is represented as 0.10. That's 10% in decimal form. We can then create an equation. All right, and again, each of them paid. So kale pays 10% and Cardi pays 10%. Let's see how this works out. So first and foremost, let's just get X dollars for kale plus X plus 4 for Cardi. That's the amount of sandwiches. And then each of them pay 10% tip, so 0.10 X for Carol and 0.10 times X plus 4 for Cardi. And then they evenly split it half. So divide every single thing by 2, which equals 38. So let's see, now we can solve it a bit. Let's multiply everything out first and distribute. So, here. X plus 4 plus 0.10x plus 0.10x plus 0.40 equals 38. Let's have all the x's. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here are all the x's, adds up to 2.20x. In which case now all constants without the variables, right, is 4.40 equals 38. All right. And there's our equation. So to kind of answer, I think I definitely went over myself. What is being asked? What is being asked, class? Right here, create an equation. So what is the equation of this word problem? Was the independent variable the X dollars, the number of dollars? Who is it? Cardi's, Carol's? Actually doesn't specify, so we don't have to say number of dollars for Carol or Cardi, just number of dollars straight up. Dependent variable is the total cost of sandwiches. And the equation, which we have right here, if we wanted to even solve for it, right, let's see some fun stuff. 2.20x equals 38 minus 4.40. 33.6, divide both sides by 220. X equals $15.27. So that means, what does that mean? Well, Carol is X dollars and Cardi is X plus 4. So it seemed like Carol paid $15.27 for a sandwich, and Cardi, no B, spent $19.27 per sandwich. Does that make sense? Well, if I add them up together, it goes to 34.54. It's not too quite to 38, but I feel like that's because of rounding issues and such. No big deal. At the end of the day, they'll leave the check regardless, right? No, I'm kidding. So there we go. That's how we would solve for this. Have it all out. So this is our last independent practice problem. Again, you need to pause for the cars, pause the video, take the next 4 to 5 minutes to answer this question, and then answer in the Google form that you should be working with us throughout the time. Once you have finished, submit your work to Google Classroom and get ready for tomorrow's lesson. Thank you so much. Or not tomorrow, Monday's lesson. Monday's lesson. So see you Monday. Thank you. Enjoy your weekend. See you next time.